All right, it is your friendly favorite neighborhood apologist, Damon Richardson, for another edition of Urban Logia Live. I'm glad you decided to join us tonight for a hearty discussion on trolling, the sociopathy, psychopathy, whatever you want to call it, on trolling. And so we'll give you a few minutes to come on in. I see Marva Cummings is already in the house from Jamaica. Pastor Avo Waters, blessings to you. I see you right here in the Atlanta area. Go ahead and drop your city. Let us know where you're watching from. As customary, rep your city. I see my good friend Warrior Woman and Tyler Lott. Blessings to you. All right, Christine, blessings, blessings, blessings. Go ahead and rep your city. We'll be getting started here in just a minute. Let me just hang on just a second. Make sure this lighting is not too. All right. Excellent, excellent. This is going to be This is going to be a real fun show tonight. We're talking about our favorite people in all of the world, trolls. And what's interesting is that we'll probably have some trolls come on tonight, as they always do. Let's see. Chris, I see you. I see you. Arlington, Texas. Pittsburgh, baby, that black and yellow. I'm green with them. Blessings to you. Rex, there you go. You are a steel worker, not an expert. You are not an expert. There you go. Fredericksburg, VA, I see you. San Francisco. All right, all right. Bay Area up in the house. Dallas, Texas. Oh, he's doing good. We had to put him in a different area tonight so he doesn't get too riled up. So let's see. Maryland, blessings, blessings. All right, all right. Another Dallas, Texas by way of Mobile, Alabama. Dothan in the house. All right, all right. JA, another Jamaica. Okay, I see you. No, we're not doing all that Ghost Steelers stuff in here. This is Cowboys territory up in here. This is Cowboys territory. So well, we appreciate all of you jumping on tonight. I see you out there, Philly in the house. Blessings to you. All right, all right. Who's that? Illinois. Where we at? Okay, more Philly. About 3 people from Philly ran up in here real quick. What's going on? Trinidad. All right, all right. Trini, I see you. I see you. I see you. Washington State. Who else we got up in here? Who else we got up in here? Hang on. Trenton, New Jersey. All right, all right. Ha 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 ha. The Loganville, the suburbs. There we go. Right around the corner from me. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There we go. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate you. Knoxville, Tennessee. Lakewood. Okay. Lakewood. All right. Maryland back in. More Dallas, Texas. We got a lot of folks from Dallas. Wow. Okay. Okay. And as always, Duval. He had to throw something in there about Calvinism. There we go. Cumming, Georgia. H-Town. All right. Good. All right. Well, listen. Let's go ahead and get started tonight. Then we got enough people on. Keep hitting the like, share, and subscribe. Let people know that we are here, that this conversation is going on right now. And we are going to have this conversation. It is a much needed conversation, obviously, because we all deal with trolls typically on a day in and day out basis. And they are annoying at best, or at the least, and so we'll be talking about different types of trolls and all different kinds of things. Just going to really give them some insight as to who they are and essentially what they do. And just a second here, let me just share that. Hold on, just a second, real quick. Just a second. Excellent. All right. Hold on just a second here. Where did I go? Where did I go? Hold on. Hold on. Let's see where I went. Just a second here. Okay. All right. I couldn't find my find the way back. Okay, good. Well, here we go. So let's go ahead and have this conversation. The first thing I want to do is just kind of basically start off with a definition of trolling. And I could have put this up on the screen, but you know, this is not school. So yeah, we'll just work with some of the basic ideas of what trolling is. Essentially, well, here's the interesting thing. There are other definitions. So the original idea of trolling really comes from a fishing technique, and that's where you essentially trail the bait in the water, right? The bait with the hook and the sinker. You just kind of trail it in the water, typically from alongside of a pier or in a moving boat, essentially trying to attract the attention of a fish. You want the fish to see it moving, and you move it slowly. It's essentially called trolling, and so that's the idea. That's the original idea of the word trolling. More recently, the phenomenon of internet trolling essentially describes a person who intentionally goes to the internet seeking out dialogue with the intention of creating arguments or hostility. This is a person that seeks to instigate conflict. They utilize, they're very deliberate, they're very clever, and they essentially specialize in pissing people off. That's what they do. And they sit around essentially all day with all kinds of time on their hand doing it. The interesting thing is that there's a whole profile for trolling. This behavior, literally, there's all kinds of other names for it. There are different kinds of types of trolling. There are at least, get this, there are at least 130 or more different types of trolling behaviors. So it's not just five or four. There's at least 130 different types of trolling behaviors. Some of them may cross hairs a little bit, or whatever. There may be some action that some behavior that may look similar to others. But again, again, there's a whole psychological profile. The interesting thing is that trolls, according to experts, we're talking about psychological and sociological experts, trolls typically are men. They typically are men. They're also typically people who are depressed. These are individuals who may not like themselves. They have issues with anger, all kinds of unresolved emotional kind of conflict, and they essentially really want to what's the word? What they want to do is project how they feel, their outlook on life, on the world, and how they feel about themselves. They want to really project that kind of anger and disgust and disgruntlement everybody else, right? So it's a way of weaponizing essentially how they feel against other people, right? So the problem is not you. If you don't know this already, the problem is not you, and you may end up feeling guilty or feeling bad about how one exchange went, this, that, or the other. Listen, while you're feeling bad, this person has already gone on to the next conversation to do the very same thing, right? They don't feel bad about it. It's typically what you would call a sociopathy. but some of it starts to border on psychopathy. And essentially the difference between socio and psycho is that socio usually is the behaviors are similar. The main difference is socio behavior usually is on set. There's some traumatic event, some crisis, something happened to the person, and as a result, they have flipped, or they start to behave in these kind of ways. Whereas psychopathy essentially is a person that is born in a particular way, and the idea is that sociopathic behavior, all of it is manipulative and deceptive and this, that, and the other. They might even feel a little remorse, a little empathy. They may feel a little conviction. Psychopathy, they feel none. They are completely incapable of feeling badly about anything that they do, right? And so you'll find trolls essentially on both spectrum, whether it is sociopathic or whether it is psychopathic. You'll find them anywhere in between that range and literally either spectrum. But it is essentially it's a sickness. It's a sin. It is a negative behavior without a doubt. Some even call trolls eye predators. That's another name for trolls. Eye predators or internet predators, right? So let's look at some of the different kinds of things that are the different types of trolls here. So I got a couple of things I'm going to bring. This is going to be fun. We'll look through some of these. Let me share my screen. Hang on just a second. And let's see if this is the best way to do it. Let's see if this one will. No, not that one. Hang on. No. Okay. Just a second. Does this help, or would I need to actually make it bigger? So just somebody comment. Do I need to make it full screen, or do I need to do this screen? What do I need to do? I just want to make sure you guys can see some of this stuff. Can y'all see it? All right. So what do I need to do? This screen or full screen? Let me know. This screen or full screen? Talk to me. Can you guys see this? Bigger? Okay. Let's go. Let's do it this way. Hang on. We're going to get there. Give me just a second. And what we'll do is increase. Let's see if we can increase. We're going to see if we can increase the text size. Hold on. Just a second. Just a second. Hang on. Hang in there with me. Let's see. Just a second. All right, hold on. Okay, I might be doing it. I might be able to. Okay, we're getting there. Hang on. We're getting there now. Okay, good. Hang in there with me. Okay. And one more. All right. So hopefully you can see these. I won't go through all of it, but I just wanted you to see. This is a website. It's literally iPredator.com or something like that. They've got every single, this is the dictionary of trolls, right? So you can see the agenda troll. Uh, you can see the Amazon troll. This is a person that posts something negative, whether it's a story or whatever. Um, and what do they do? It is imperative that you avoid the temptation and instead face the situation and take it on the chin, right? They just want to post something negative. There's the artistic troll, the backstalker, debater. This troll has a serious case of superiority and always has an ulterior motive. Whether posting one-off comments or engaging in back and forth, the baiter always wants to bring the discussion back to their wheelhouse. The political baiter will make comments about the liberal media or the liberal elite or anti-intellectual conservatism. Or she bar friend, the big man kind of troll. A big man does trolling by posting something pleasing to others to support their worldview. You got the bitter troll. Look at all this. And mind you, all of these, they're citations to it. They are people who literally have taken the time to identify the different kind of trolling. The concern troll. And you might even have different names for these kinds of trolls. A concern troll, a person who post on a blog thread in the guise of concern to disrupt dialogue or undermine morale by pointing out that posters and or the site may be getting themselves in trouble, usually with an authority or power. They point out problems that don't really exist. The intent is to derail, stifle, or control the dialogue. How many of you have met the concern kind of troll before? Copyright trolls, on and on and on. Definitely check this out. It's literally, this is the place to go for any definition on trolling. But this will be good for you to be able to kind of identify some of the things that people are actually doing and how they weaponize these sociopathic and psychopathic kind of behaviors against you. So let's see. I mean, you've got the grammar Nazi. We've all run into this type person. Who else is out there? The I'm better than you and you're a moron troll. Wow. It just, if you can think of it, it's on here and they've got a name for it. So that's just one. Let's go to another one here. This one is a website that just kind of talks about what is trolling, goes through some of the definitions of trolling, so forth and so on. What I like about this this particular website is, hang on one second. They mentioned something here that I wanted to point out. Here it is right here. And let me just kind of go in on it. Let me go in on this as well. Hang on. I guess I've got to do that with all of them. So just a second. This is what I wanted you to see. Regardless of the strict definition, trolling and antisocial online behavior in general can have serious psychological and physical and psychological effects on victims. So trolls literally, sometimes it gets taken to the street. People literally get killed over trolling. But they do cause psychological effects on victims. So you've got people, lowered self-esteem, sleep disruption, depression, and even in some cases, suicide. Now, look at what the studies show. That trolls tend to be male, show higher levels of psychopathy. That's what I was telling you about, where they have low levels of empathy or feeling remorse about any of the things that they're doing, low levels of empathy, guilt, responsibility for their actions, and higher levels of sadism traits, the enjoyment of causing others physical and psychological pain, right? So, just so that you know, if you're going to identify somebody as a troll, I wouldn't suggest essentially accusing somebody being a troll unless it's just so obvious that they are, right? But this just goes to show that it is worth you protecting yourself from trolls. So when you know you're dealing with a troll, it is best to separate yourself from that conversation. Now, here's another one. This one happened to be on Twitter. This one is incredible. I think you would actually love this one. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Again, let me zoom in. Just stay with me. Let me zoom in. Keep hitting the share button. We want people to know this conversation is going on. I'm going to zoom in one more time. All right. So this particular, let's see, this guy's a scientist, grad program director, and professor. So it looks like he has an interest in dealing with this kind of sociological behavior. So you'll notice he kind of literally has even created a sense of chart. This person is like the civility police. So this is a type of troll that you'll deal with. Look at how it works. Their whole goal is to essentially, here's what they utilize. They utilize tone, and how rude. We must postpone all discussion of your experiences until you can make me feel comfortable. You seem upset. Perhaps you aren't able to handle rational discourse. If you get angry, they win. The mouth on you. No wonder you got harassed. So again, the problem is their comfort is their number one priority, right? So they'll attempt to hijack any conversation and then say, hey, this is not an appropriate conversation to have. It's divisive. They make it seem like the real issue is tone, right? So that's another way that happens. This one is called the gaslighter, because gaslighting obviously is a type of trolling. This one is also known as the male interpreter, right? Here's how they troll. It's really not that bad, and if it is, you deserve it, right? So they want to just gaslight, a conversation. Here's some characteristics of it. Something similar happened to a man once, therefore you didn't experience sexism. So they really want to kind of minimize the experience. His intentions were good. It's a compliment, right? He never assaulted women in front of me. I need to know the exact context, or I'll assume that you've blown this out of proportion. This is a gaslighter. These are some of the worst kind of people in the absolute world, right? That's kind of how they do it. Let's look at another example. This one is called the Cookie Manster. They come off as a really nice guy, also known as not all men. I love women. Mommy, look. And the way that they essentially troll is by making things all about them. So I haven't harassed women to my knowledge. Where's my lifetime achievement award? They want to always center the focus on them. Not all men do bad things. In a faculty meeting, somebody made a sexist remark, and I thought to myself, that is so messed up. So at the end of the day, they find ways to just kind of take the conversation and center it on them, and attempt to give themselves an achievement award, a cookie, in other words, pride themselves on how they are not like the others, right? So that's another way of trolling. Then there's this one right here, himpathy. So here's how they troll. to what is it? If we start holding men responsible for their actions, where will it end? She's just claiming harassment to get ahead, and he is suffering for it. So obviously, the person that's writing this is writing it from the perspective of sexual harassment, this, that, or the other. But they're showing how trolls would behave in that context. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a a sexual harassment context. It can be any kind of context. He is really going through a lot. The rules are changing. It's hard out there, and so you could see how censorship. Why can't I say whatever comes into my mind while everyone else walks on eggshells around me? So this is a person that essentially steals empathy and redirects it in another way, right? So instead of having the proper empathy for the person that's suffering, they attempt to redirect the empathy, and then so again, if you were to say something like, African Americans find it extremely challenging to find jobs because they're up against this, that, or the other. This person, yeah, it's hard for white men now because of all these different policies, this, that, and the other, so forth and so on. So they want to redirect the empathy and place it somewhere else. So that's another way again of trolling. I'm just kind of showing you. I'm going to show you one more. This one is this is one of my favorite because this happens a lot. This is essentially the sea lion. And this is the person that asks questions almost endlessly. Here's the real problem. Nothing you show them is going to convince them anyway. You can't show them enough data. You can't show them enough proof. What they really want to do is exhaust you and have the last word, right? So here's some of the things that they might say. Would you answer my endless, here's an example. Would you answer my endless bad faith questions, which I could easily Google on my own with a little less attitude, please? So that's kind of the idea. A lot of what they're asking, they can find the answer to. So that's a dead giveaway. Here's their attitude. If you don't respond to me, you're admitting I'm right. If you do respond, then it just never ends. If you don't show them pics, it didn't happen. If you don't have stats, it didn't happen. Your testimony to that person is essentially unreliable. You understand what I'm saying? And then here's what they want you to do. Why? They want you to repeat all kinds of details and walk me through, just wasting your time when they know they have no intention on changing their thinking at all. The burden is on you to waste time disproving their wild and unsupported claims. So they never defend anything. They just put all the burden on you and leave you to do all of that work. And then when you have done all of that work, they essentially just bounce on you, leave you all frustrated, all kinds of stuff, leave you all kinds of frustrated, mad, upset, this, that, or the other. You've invested all kinds of emotional bandwidth into it, this, that, and the other. This person is on their way to do the very same thing to somebody else, right? No, they're not stat nerds. They don't. There's no evidence that can convince them. It doesn't matter what you show them because they're only really looking to waste your time. They already have their mind made up, and they're trying to get you to prove a case that they'll never be convinced by. Well, and again, they don't believe, if I don't see it, it didn't happen. And they don't believe anything, right, that you are saying. They're there in order to frustrate you. There's just all different kinds of trolls out there. And I just wanted to kind of get you to see some of what's out there in terms of what's being discussed when it comes down. Now, the reason I'm even talking about this tonight is that we deal with it all the time. But how we deal with it is important. The first thing is that Trolls can literally create mental health issues for you. You cannot give your time, your energy, and your passions over to these people. Right? Stop replying to them. Stop replying to them. Now, once you really identify this person as a troll, get out of the conversation. Walk away from the conversation. Sometimes trolls are even worth blocking, right? Not in every case, but sometimes they're even worth blocking. The key is to remove yourself from the situation. Don't try to outprove them because you can't. Now, here's the danger in that. If you have an ego where you want to be right, you are never going to win with a troll that's trying to get the last word in and they're there to waste your time and frustrate you. So you'll allow your ego to drag you into a situation where in the end, the troll is going to utilize the situation to drag you out in a place that ultimately makes you look bad. Right? So they don't have anything to lose. They have no stock vested in any of this. And then here you are, a Christian, and then they're sitting there poking at you, poking at you, poking at you. And next thing you know, you're on here cussing. Or you're on here acting a fool. And then they're like, see, and this person calls themselves a Christian. That's exactly why I don't even go to church. You see that? You see how they're acting? Look at this. Hypocrites. I tell you, church people, and they'll do that. Right. And I mean, these people literally make you want to put your hands around their neck and make them stop breathing, for a few seconds, 15, 20 seconds. You know what I mean? They really do. But you see what they're doing to you? You see what you see what I'm saying? The evidence shows. We're talking about evidence-based research shows these people create psychological and even physical, negative physical effects in other people. Like they cause people to lose sleep. They cause people to feel suicidal. They cause people's self-esteem to get lowered. They cause people to feel anxious and even guilty. You got folk right now sitting around, man, I don't know if that conversation went well. I could have said things a different way. And all this person was doing was gaslighting or sea lioning or just trying to get you riled up, get you flustered. And then you sitting around feeling bad and talking to the Lord. Lord, teach me your ways and help me to be a little bit more patient, this, that, or the other. Listen, these jokers are sociopathic. They're the problem. They are the problem, right? And let me give you some biblical help. We got to be biblical, right? And in Matthew chapter 12, can't remember which verse, but it says that Jesus became aware that the Pharisees were conspiring to physically harm him. And it says, and when Jesus knew this, he removed himself. Now, I don't know if Jesus went invisible on him or how he got out of there, but he got out of there. Now, this is God the Son. This is the Theoanthropos, the God man, right? This is the Logos incarnate. When he knew, that there was a conspiracy to bring physical harm to him, Jesus didn't try and instigate or confront the situation. He removed himself. He removed himself from the situation. Many of you will do yourselves well to do the very same thing, to remove yourself or remove the person from the conversation, especially when it's your conversation. You are not indebted or obligated to have that conversation with that person. And in light of the fact that we've got all of these so-called discussions going on in the church, CRT, so forth and so on, don't let these so-called anti-CRT, anti-social justice warrior kind of folk have you all riled up for nothing. You do not have a burden to prove systemic racism to these people. Send these people on their way, right? Get them going down the road, kicking rocks or whatever they need to do. Do not engage in conversation where you know you have more pathos, right? You've got more pathos invested into the conversation than they do. You have greater concern, greater emotional buy-in to it, right? And relationship to it experientially, your own experience and so forth and so on, right? And they already know that. And then they're going to come hit you with, well, um, you're listening to liberal media and all this other stuff. And first thing you want to do, well, no, you want to start proving it to this person. What about in 19 such and such, the Greenwood massacre in Tulsa. And then what about this? What about the bombing of the neighborhood in Philadelphia? And then what about this? And the next thing you know, you have literally created an entire essay on examples of racism for this idiot that is doing nothing but trolling you. You don't owe it to this person to provide their education. There are plenty of examples of racism right now, observable examples, and there are more than 100 libraries full of books written on racism. Trust me. Find 100 of the world's largest libraries, and you can fill all of them with books about racism in America. That's a fact. They can educate themselves, right? So, excellent. Woo! Matthew 12, 14 through 15. Yeah. Don't allow them to drag you out like that. We've got to learn how to deal with them in ways that, now, there's some who they're Christian, they're so-called Christian trolls. And I say the word Christian only as a adjective to suggest that these people consider themselves to be Christians, right? But they are trolls in their behavior. And there's a whole lot of them. They're in all kinds of different theological circles. Some of them will start discussions, right? So here's one that we've got to look out for. We've got to look out for. This is me making this one up. And I'm sure that if we went back to our dictionary on trolling, we would be able to find one in there that matches the description, only with a different name, right? But here's one. This one is essentially the axe to grind troll. This is a person that will take any conversation and attempt to steer it towards whatever their axe to grind issue is, right? Whatever their main kind of agenda that they want to push. So, for instance, this person doesn't believe that music should ever be in the church. They don't care whether you're talking about revival. They don't care whether you're talking about, you could be talking about presuppositional apologetics, or whatever it is, the ontological or the Kalam argument for God. This person is going to find a way to inject no music in the church, because that is their axe to grind. It's going to be every example they use in a seminary class. It's the thing that they'll turn almost any discussion into that. Their goal is to involve themselves in discussions, and they'll utilize exegesis. You're talking about interpreting scripture and this, that, and the other, and they're like, yeah, I believe all that. That's good. That's true. Yeah, we've got to make sure that we are looking at culture, and we're looking at history, and we're looking at language. For example, where do we actually find music in a New Testament church? Just for example. It ain't no example. Ninja, this is why you came over here. This is your axe to grind. That's what you really want to talk about. And you always want to talk about that because you want to push that agenda. You want to make sure that everybody joins your Church of Christ cult or whatever it is, wherever you go to church, whatever you guys believe, that's a big thing for y'all. The oneness folk do the same thing with baptism in Jesus' name. They want to turn everything into baptism in Jesus's name, right? It's the axe to grind troll. They contribute to no other part of the conversation other than where they think they can slide their axe to grind issue in. They're disingenuous. They're disingenuous. They're deceptive, and they're really manipulative. And the sad thing is that they think they're doing the work of the Lord. You know, let me be wise about the way that I approach this. No, you're being deceptive about what you're doing. You're being you're a troll, is what you are. You know, so yeah, oh yeah, that is absolutely correct. They are the she's. So there you go. So there's another name for it, the agenda troll, right? So I'm sure that, like anything, you can come up with all kinds of names for these things. The real important thing here is to be able to identify what you are dealing with. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's exactly how they would do it. Right. Yeah, we talking about basketball and they bringing up Acts 2:38. And while we're talking about weapons, I definitely believe that Christians can have guns, the right to own guns and this, that, and the other. In fact, I own an axe and 238s. Wah, wah, wah. Either way it goes, these agenda axe to grind kind of trolls, that's how they do it. Right. And yeah, we had, when we were talking about vaccines and conspiracy theorists, what did they do? In fact, I put up a post earlier today. This I put up a post a little earlier today where a doctor in Birmingham, Alabama, was quoted as talking about all of these people, these young people who are dying from COVID, the serious strain, they're dying. And she says, I'm admitting young people, young, healthy people to the hospital with very serious COVID infections. One of the last things they do before they're intubated is beg me for the vaccine. I hold their hand and tell them that I'm sorry, but it's too late. A few days later, when I call time of death, I hug their family members and I tell them the best way to honor their loved ones is to go get vaccinated and encourage everyone they know to do the same. They cry and they tell me they didn't know. They thought it was a hoax. They thought it was political. Listen to this. This is a doctor saying, here's some of the things that the victims say, and even their family members have said to her when the reality hits that, yeah, this is happening. It's not a hoax and they're going to die or they're dead already. They thought because they had a certain blood type, or watch this, or certain skin color, that they wouldn't get sick. They thought it was just the flu. This is Dr. Brittany Cobia, a hospitalist physician at Grandview Medical Center in Birmingham, Alabama. What did folk do? Jump right on posting conspiracy theories about 5G towers causing it and all kinds of other foolishness. Right? Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. And I need to, you know what? I just need to find your request and accept you, because I probably have, honestly, about 1,000, and I just won't be able to find it unless you maybe cancel it and then resend it again. And I'll look for you, Christine. I will look for it. They will absolutely take a toll on your mental health. So you got those axe to grind agenda kind of trolls. What other kind of what other kind of trolls? Again, do you have? We talked about the gaslighter. We talked about the sea lion. There's so many different kind of things. But again, it is possible that every single day you are encountering numerous conversations where these trolls exist. Keep in mind now, especially when we're talking about the internet, they call it the trollosphere. The internet is where they do most of their dirty work. You've got people who actually do troll in person and that kind of thing. But over the internet, this whole keyboard warrior kind of stuff, it's real easy to sit behind the keyboard and talk tough. I'll never do this and I'll never do that. And, call you names and this, that, and the other. Typically, trolls are cowards. They're cowards. They dislike themselves. As a consequence, they dislike other people. They hate their own lives. They're disappointed that they have not achieved what they want out of life or whatever, and they're angry, and they essentially create conversations in order to be disagreeable. Even you got that kind of troll. There you go, the disagreeable troll. This is one of the most cantankerous kind of trolls out there. These kind of trolls, no matter what you say, they are going to disagree because that's what they're about, right? I told you I had an uncle, and that you probably have heard me talk about him before. My uncle, he's now deceased. My uncle, we called him Uncle Mito, and his name was Guillermo. My Uncle Mito, and my Uncle Mito, he very, very bitter. Some things happened to him in life. My Uncle Mito was very, very bitter. He drank a lot, so forth and so on. But his main thing was argument. My Uncle Mito loved argument, and he argued for the sake of arguing because life just sucked for him. So he would start arguments just for, right? Now, his thing about arguing was to disagree. He loved disagreeing. And one day, and I would go see my Uncle Mito just about every day. I'd stop by on the way home from work, and I'd check on him. And he lived alone, as you could imagine. It's hard to be married to a fellow like an Uncle Mito. And I love my uncle though, but we'd be talking, and we could be watching something on the news. In New York, they got News One. New York One, this station, they repeat the news every like 10, 15 minute cycles, same thing, right? And he loved to keep it on that channel. And we'd be watching the news story. This new mayor. Every mayor was this new mayor, no matter how long they were in office, right? So Giuliani, this new mayor, this, that, or the other, And one day we were having some sort of disagreement, and I decided to do this experiment. I said, I am going to agree with Uncle Mito, and I'm going to see where it goes from there. So we were disagreeing about something, some policy or something. And so I decided to just flip sides and agree with Uncle Mito. And what happened? Uncle Mito flipped the other way. literally jumped on the other side of the argument. He literally took up the negative constructive. I promise you, I was done. I was like, all right, Uncle Mito, I gotta go. I mean, literally, I've seen him do it. And I've tested it. I've tested it multiple times to know that I was like, okay, gotcha. Uncle Mito is disagreeable. That's his thing, right? And you've got those kind of trolls that are out there that's what they do. They just disagree for the sake of disagreeing. Very, very cantankerous about it, And next thing you know, you on your lunch break. Now you 15 minutes over, still trying to get that last little thing in. still trying to go back and forth with this person. Listen, that argument is never going to end. And then when you are off of work, you're going to have about 20 notifications where this person kept going back and forth. And you almost have to delete the head thread just to kill it, because they're not going to stop. They're there to disagree with you, right? So you got the disagreeing kind of troll. Like I said, these people fit a certain profile. Usually they're men. Doesn't matter whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they're Hispanic, Latino, whatever. Doesn't matter. Asian. They're usually men. And and again, not that women go to. You got some women trolls out there too. Now, don't get me wrong, but the profile typically is a man. But again, like I said, these people, they hate their lives. They hate their lives. You got some people, and some of these people, don't underestimate them. Many of these people are failures at a lot of things, but they know the ins and outs of the internet, and they can use it in very, very dangerous ways. They have this thing now that they call doxing. Doxxing. And doxing essentially is where they use all of the means of the internet to find pictures and information, where you live, this, that, or the other, and just start plastering social media with your personal information, just to humiliate you or embarrass you or make you afraid. And you start thinking, what kind of people, right? Like I said, you really do feel like getting your hand around their neck and kind of making them not breathe for 15 seconds. You really do want to listen. These kind of people have driven people to suicide out of fear that their lives are going to be exposed in some kind of way, or these people were going to destroy their livelihood. All of these different kinds of things. Like I said, this is real sociopathic behavior. These people are eye predators. They are every bit as bad as any physical stalker or anybody is. In fact, they are worse because they hide. They hide. They are racist and all kinds of evil, venomous, disgusting things. And they hide behind pseudonyms and 50 different profiles and all kinds of stuff. These are the worst kind of human beings in the world. You cannot afford to waste time with these people. Get these jokers out of your life ASAP. You are not obligated to stay friends with these people. First of all, they ain't your friends. You don't even know these people. Block them. What are you afraid of? Oh, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. I don't really want to block. Blocking is not the nice thing to do. Trolls will literally destroy your life if you give them opportunity. What are you talking about? This is not a game. These people sit around. Some of them don't even have jobs. Some of them have jobs and use half the day on the job being a predator. Then when they come home, they sit right in front of the computer or their phone, eating and snacking and doing predatory trolling. And you're like, where do these people get the time? They use all of the time that they have, even when they're supposed to be doing something else, to troll. Right? You don't play with these people. Don't play with these people. You can't play with these people. Get these folk out of your life ASAP. Yeah, I got a strong block game. Folk be on Facebook and stuff crying, Damon blocked me. First of all, I don't know you. You're not a day one. We never hung out. I don't know you. Never met you, this, that, or the other. All I know is if you on here, and I don't know you, right? There's a lot of people I never personally met, but I know them because I've interacted. I know enough about them. We've engaged so many different times. They're like family, right? I do see them, so forth and so on. Right? We may have never met in person. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these are people who I don't even know you like that. And then you got my name in your mouth, all negative. You don't even know me. You know what I mean? You don't even know me. And next thing I know, you're doing a video about me. I'm gonna block you. First of all, I don't even want to bother myself to have to see it. Right? See, the first thing you do wrong is you want to go see the negative comments about you. So you can't erase that. You cannot erase that. If first thing I'm gonna do is block, because I know that I'm going to be tempted to go in there, read all of those comments, and then next thing you know, say, I got to protect my heart. Next thing you know, now I'm spiteful towards all of these people. Yeah, amen. Yeah, Damon nothing but a hypocrite. And I'm looking like, who is this? Susie? I don't even know Susie. How's she calling me a hypocrite? You know what I mean? Like, why should I waste my time with Susie or any of these people when I don't know them? So I just block them. And they can cry later and tell people he blocked me. Like, well, I should. I mean, why? Why? What am I supposed to do? Give you more opportunities to sit up on my channel or my page, listen to me so that you can get more ammo to go back to wherever you come from in Trollville with all of the other trolls and hateful people and talk about me? No. I'm going to try and limit every opportunity for us to engage or interact or you to even see me, so that you will be wondering, listen, this is where you got to use passive aggressiveness. I do this with some of the most notorious trolls. There are trolls out there that they probably wake up. I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not even trying to toot my own horn. I'm talking about how sick trolls are. I got some trolls out there who probably wake up thinking about me. They probably think about me before they think about food, right? How can I get under Damon's skin, right? And so here's the thing. I'm glad that you're thinking about me. In fact, I'm flattered, but I'm going to make sure that you are the one wondering what I'm thinking and what I'm up to. But I am going to make sure that I take away your opportunity to ever see or hear me respond to you. See, let me show you something now. Let me show you something, right? I remember now when I was younger, I was a rock thrower. I was a rock thrower, and a little bit destructive too. Because for me and my friends, throwing rocks was about causing damage. That's what it was about. You wanted to see how far your rock can go, and you wanted to hear it land and hit something. And when you hear that, you're like, oh, yeah, my rock hit something, right? That was the satisfaction you took from the fact that you knew your rock made contact. And so either you were able to see it or you were able to hear it. But you had to derive satisfaction from either seeing the damage that it caused or hearing it, right? Now, here's the troll. They throw the rock is out there. They're throwing the rock at you. And instead of you responding, you take away this person's ability to see or even hear response or impact. For all they know, the rock is still in the air. Now they're robbed of that satisfaction. So they're looking for other ways to get to you. Right? That's why folk who ain't friends can't comment on my Facebook. But that's why. Right? Because they'll create especially if you leave it public, every post public and allow them to comment on, they'll comment on it. They'll go find another page, profile, create that, and then they'll do that, right? They do all these kinds of different things. But what they're trying to do is derive satisfaction from upsetting you. And then you go, because you're none the wiser. And I hate when people say this, that, the other, and like, yes, my rock landed. and then they go do more. So you got to rob them of that satisfaction. Don't let them ever see you sweat, hear you respond, act like they don't exist. That's the worst thing you could do to these trolls. Literally, completely invalidate their existence. Like you don't even matter. Your whole life is non-existent to me. Oh, they can't stand that. And in that way, they are completely eaten alive because now they can't. You see this right here, this bottle of water, it's got some water in it. If I just leave this bottle sitting here on my desk, over some time, it's going to evaporate. No big science in that. It's going to evaporate. I just got to leave it alone though. But what ends up happening is that the troll wants you to pour more water into it. Right? See, if you leave it be, it's going to evaporate. What they're trying to do is get you to pour more water, keep pouring into the situation. Excuse me, because as long as you do, the bottle stays full. It never goes away. You gotta know how to allow the situation to evaporate. So that you see, once you respond, you just pour water back into it. You see what I mean? So you've got to be there you go. You've got to be wise about how you go about doing these kinds of things. And hang on, somebody said something. I came in this chat for some good and honest conversation. Then my post got deleted. Moderators can go overboard on blocking. Now, I'm not sure if you're talking about this particular conversation or on our website, so forth. I mean, on Urban Logia's live chats or this, that, or the other. But our moderators here, who I greatly appreciate, are very fair, very balanced, and make sure that they've got a very keen eye on trolling behavior. And they're very gracious. They give people an opportunity to and warn and so forth and so on. So I'm not sure what you may be referring to, but if you've displayed trolling kind of behavior, chances are they might have given you a couple of warnings or something, or it could have just been a mistake, a mistake on their part. But for the most part, I doubt it. Right. So I don't know the situation, but I do know that there we go. Hang on one second. Constantly engage in maintaining a balance between facilitating conversation while not allowing commentators to hijack the chat. So that's another type of troll, the chat jacker. That's another type of troll, the chat jacker. They are not in the discussion to listen to nothing. They are in the discussion to hijack it, to get everybody to listen to them. I've had people say, man, I was enjoying the teaching, but man, this one particular person just kept saying this and saying that, this, that, or the other. They don't have a platform. Nobody listens to them. So they seek out platforms where a lot of people may show up in order to be able to insert their agenda and steal attention to themselves. That's another troll. I just made that name up. The chat jacker. There you go. Thanks to Shoddy Mills and that's essentially what they try to do. And there are folks who do come in here attempting to chat jack. They don't care about what I'm teaching about. They only care about trying to get folk to listen to whatever they've got to say about it. Well, I disagree. And then they go on and this, that, and the other. And, that's their agenda. They start posting up all kinds of proof text and all kinds of other things and so forth and so on. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I talked about. Doxing. Doxing is very dangerous now because they're really giving out people's actual information. They're putting people in harm's way, right? They're literally giving people actual reasons to be afraid. Like these people are uh, putting up images and addresses of where these people's children go to school and all kinds of stuff. Folk are sitting on right now on social media doing these kind of things to other people from the safety of pseudonymity, right? And behind a keyboard, right? They folk don't even know who these people are, right? And you almost wish you could catch them, but you never know who they are. Millions and millions and millions of people in society. You don't know who these folk are, right? You see, I'm just trying to tell you, it's dangerous. Yeah, it's very, very dangerous. And so we got to be careful out here in these Facebook streets, right? And social media streets, because there are people out here who are doing behavior that is every bit as dangerous and more as things that we normally would deem dangerous in the physical world. So we were in social spaces, in physical social space, like you wouldn't allow your kids to talk to, strangers like that. And, but kids be on social media talking to people they don't know all the time. It's because we have a different regard for virtual space than we do for physical space. But in reality, virtual space is not very different, and the dangers are even greater. There you go. So there's another one, the catfish troll. That is the person that does indeed hide behind false identities. And in doing so, the catfish troll can pretend to be, they love to pretend to be experts. Because once you play the "you're not the expert" card that I was doing, it's like you're a underwater welder. You are not an expert. Then they come with this thing. Well, I'm they want to try and pretend. So the catfish troll will try to pretend to be an expert. They'll use a different identity, come back, try to be the expert. Have you calling them doctor, create fake credentials and this, that, or the other. And they love uh, uh, living in secret, right? False names, false identities, so forth and so on, all with the ability of being able to troll. So they can create them, make themselves out to be an authority. You can't even check their credentials or where they teach it. This, that, the other. They created a whole persona, the profile that's fake, all to make themselves appear to be an expert or to have authority in the matter. Yeah, we got to really, truly be careful about what we're dealing with. Now, I've gone on for about a good hour. Some quick questions here. Yeah, there you go. They pretend to know. Sorry about that. Pretend to know Greek and Hebrew, but run away when they're tested. They're the people like Shaka Amos. When you get him cornered, you can see his eyes in the light of the screen as he's Googling, trying to find the definition of the word ontology and this, that, and the other. They don't, we don't always have the luxury of being able to see these trolls, but trust me, they don't know what they're talking about, but they'll sit there and waste your time trying to get you to do all of the heavy lifting. And anybody with any, just like that guy, we don't know what Sharif the Berean, Shaft the Berean. I don't know what kind of name is that. That's not a government name, right? I mean, that's not a birth certificate name. I don't know that that's who that fella is. Yeah, you know what it is. I done ran into you before. So how do I know? I don't even know who you are, right? Notice how convenient it was. He's just trying to get attention, just draw attention to himself. And yeah, man, I'm gonna pull up on you, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, right? This fella probably lives in Sioux City, Iowa. Man, you ain't ever gonna run up into me. You're not gonna run into me. but you want people to believe that you're the big bad wolf and everybody's scared of you, this, that, and the other. You could walk right by me, right on the sidewalk, even stop and shake my hand, and I probably wouldn't even know who you are, right? Most have no idea that you were the fella trolling us the other night. But they'll do that. They'll do that. You know, there it is. In case anyone is wondering about doxing, what doxing uh, is it is to search for and publish private or identifying information about a particular individual. There it is on the internet, typically with malicious intent. Exactly what it is. That's exactly what I described, right? If you guys are engaging now, let me just make this, because every time, even in church, and your haters and this, that, the other, and oftentimes, the preacher, don't worry about your haters because your haters can't do nothing with you, this, that, and the other. Not realizing that it's an audience full of haters out in the audience. And then you got the hater turning to his neighbor. Yeah, my hater can't. Well, listen, the troll is not the other person all the time. Sometimes the troll is you. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Listen, if you are engaging in trolling behavior, stop, because it's sinful. It's harassing. It's deceitful. It's manipulative. It's dangerous. It's harmful. It is malicious. Malice is a sin, right? Yeah, it's troubling to others. It's annoying. It's wow. I mean, I can go on and on and on. If you are engaging in trolling behavior, stop. Like, repent and stop the behavior. Acknowledge the root of the issue. Maybe you got some anger issues, some unresolved issues, this, that, the other. Pain. People like to weaponize their pain because they really want somebody else to pay for what they felt. I don't know what. Go get some counseling, right? But you need to get off the internet. You need to get off the internet. And God help you if you're doxing somebody else, right? Listen, you can get somebody hurt real bad, or you can end up getting hurt, because some of these doxers are even revealing who they are. You know what I mean? I've had that happen. I've seen, listen, when people get desperate, they'll hurt you. They'll hurt you. They'll hurt you. Then you got the, then you have the Sicko Woods kind of troll. He's the worst kind of troll. This is the kind of troll that they're so-called Christian kind of trolls. They claim to be trying to correct bad theology and claim to have a concern for. So they use the cloak of theological concern and biblical fidelity and all of that other stuff. None of that stuff is really where their interest is. Their interest is in being right, in controlling people, in manipulating people, in creating fear, and all kinds of other stuff. He's one of the worst kind that there is. And he's one who has spent years trying to troll me. I have my pictures of me on Twitter, this, that, and the other. I bring him up because many of you have dealt with him yourself, right? But there are millions of Sicko Wood kind of trolls out there. He's got a whole cult following of people who love his approval and love things, and then they go out and then they do the very same kind of things, right? Listen, and the thing that's insulting is that then y'all want to try and be cool with me and then be cool with a person like Sicko. I'm just going to be honest with you. You cannot be cool with Sicko and be cool with me. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be like one of those kind of things like how long halt you between two opinions kind of a thing. People like him are dangerous. People like him are unregenerate. They're ungodly, heathenistic kind of individuals. You cannot be cool with me and be cool with a person like that. If you can be cool with a person like that, I'm side-eyeing your whole discernment. I'm checking out how you can't know that there's something wrong with this person not bearing not one single fruit of the Spirit. How can you not know that that person is way out of line? And you see what this person does. These are the kind of trolls that are out there. And that's one of the worst kind right there, because then they do it in the name of Christ. Right? Listen. And if you're one of those reformed kind of thug trolls out there, listen, I'm telling you right now, I will block you in a New York second. Because I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the time for it. I don't have the energy for it. And last of all, it just disgusts me that people will troll in the name of the Lord, right? All to evoke some theological elitism and superiority over everybody. You know, the theological Gestapo kind of a thing. See, that kind of stuff. See, that's the kind of stuff that'll bring the Zilla out. That's the kind of stuff that I might say, just meet me around the back. It'll just be a couple of minutes. Just meet me around the back. Just me and you. just meet me around the back in the alley. Just me and you. Leave your phone here. You won't need your phone. Don't worry about it. No spectators. Just me and you. These kind of people are the absolute worst. They'll get out and they'll draw you out until you are so unnerved and overworked to where you start acting unseemly. And then they'll be like, got you. You know, got you. You know, listen, don't let these folks. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that is the problem. It's these kind of people right here. It's these kind of people. So real quick, couple of questions, and we out. And it's satanic. I agree with you, Floyd. It's Satan's work. Because accusing the brethren, the brothers and the sisters is the work of the Satan. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Bullying is a kind of troll. That's exactly right. Yeah. so we now there's some of us that engage in trolling trolling live chats like Sonnetter, so forth and so on. That's a little bit. That's a little bit. It's trolling. It's trolling. Let me just say this. It's trolling, right? It's trolling. It's the intent though. The intent is not to create harm. The intent is not to be manipulative or deceitful, so forth and so on. Sometimes the intent is just to descend on a particular area and bombard it with the right information to counter or to offset the abundance and the proliferation of false information that is out there. So some of us do engage in different forms of trolling. A lot of it has to do also with the intent, the motive of the heart, so forth and so on. But we got to be careful though that we are not engaging in general type trolling behavior. For the most part, as we can see, it's malicious. It is sociopathic. It's a sociopathic kind of behavior. Let's see real quick. Is there ever a time to not share the gospel, especially when you discern that a person is clearly not interested, like a troll? Well, yeah, I mean, don't cast your pearl before swine. I mean, even Jesus said when people are completely rejecting and this, that, and the other, he told the disciples, leave those homes, leave the village, shake the dust off your feet, right? They'll, obviously others will stand up in judgment against them as a witness against them, right? Yeah, you don't waste your time with people that are not trying to, you know what I mean? If people are not showing a considerable level of interest or this, that, or the other, then they start feeling like you're trying to push on them, right? Or whatever. That's why part of the, anything is testing people's interest level, right? That's why groups have what they call interest meetings and things like that. See if people are interested. Otherwise, you might be wasting your own time, right? That's a little different than trolling, though, right? Um, you might appear to be the troll in that sense, but I mean, that's different. Your intent, see, again, it goes back to the intent, the motive here, right? But you don't want to appear to be super pushy, like some greaseball salesperson that's just trying to get the sale, no matter what ethical violations there, or whatever. Ah, let's see. What else we got? Any other questions? Anybody with any other questions? Let me see. Put question in front of your question. Put question in front of your question. Remember, while you're doing that, make sure you stop by urbanlogia.org or .com. Check us out. Thinkific courses, Exegesis 1 and 4th century church history. While you're there, make sure you pick up some merch. Who Taught You t-shirts. That is another way of financially supporting the work of Urban Logia as we continue to work on. We've spent a whole lot of money behind the scenes. You'll see the fruit of it shortly, trust me. But we've got a number of videos that are in production as we speak that we've already spent the pre-production money on. And so these courses are going to be an incredible blessing to the education of people who seek access to the information without having to enroll in a seminary or Bible college, so forth and so on. So trust me, it is going to pay off, but we really appreciate your partnership and your contributions. When you become a member of Urban Logia, it's another way to help us to be able, even, again, just a small monthly, recurring monthly contribution. All of that adds up. When the more people do it, it just enables us to be able to accomplish that much more. And hardly ever see me putting up things like cash apps and this, that, and the other. It's not about money coming to me as much as money being utilized by Urban Logia in order to be able to then turn around and reinvest that in the edification, the education, the uplift, the equipping, and the encouragement of the people of God, right? So that's what it's really all about. If you haven't become a subscriber or a member, definitely do that. Help us get to 10,000. Really counting on you all to be able to do that. And he said, I trolled Jesse Lee Peterson. Boy, there's some folks out there that, whoo, good gracious. Yeah, so the sea lion technique, again, is the person that asks a series of questions, constantly trying to get you to answer questions with essentially no real end in mind. There's no sincerity to wanting to know the answers to it. They already have their mind made up about what they believe and what they think. And it comes across at first very sincere. They act ignorant. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to really learn more about it. I mean, tell me why you think, and then you answer that. They got another question and another one. That's called sea lioning, right? That is a way of trolling. It is yeah. I mean, you're talking about, you know what I mean? And when you really look at it, this is really sick. But it's a lot of people out here that do these things. Thank you. The Dex, Jay. We really appreciate it. Thank you, dear brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're definitely teaching master's level seminary by condensing it all into essentially one lecture. So we're taking essentially 16 weeks worth of information and condensing it into 1 hour, 45-minute lecture so that it allows you to be able to have a full synopsis, understanding of all the most important aspects of that particular topic. And studies have already been done. Studies literally have been done that oftentimes a person can walk away retaining more information in a seminar than a person who covered that topic in a course over 8 to 16 weeks. You ask them several months later to articulate what they know about that particular topic. And some studies have shown that the person that took the seminar retained more of the information and were able to recall the most critical aspects of the topic, even though they got essentially the condensed version of the topic. So that's one of the reasons that we do it. And the other thing is to fill in those knowledge gaps between theology, biblical studies, apologetics, and church history, to make it accessible for everybody and obviously affordable, right? Obviously affordable. You know, the average course, even in a seminary, is going to ultimately end up costing somewhere around $700 per credit hour, which essentially is going to round out to about $3,000 for that one class, right? And for all of that information, we're essentially rolling that into 1 hour and 45-minute intensive lecture with PowerPoint information for the visual effect for like $100. Can't beat that. Promise you, you can't beat it. See what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna be coming with it, literally loading that library up with one course after the other. It's coming. We only have the 2 in there right now, but if you haven't taken any one of those 2, go jump on it. I promise you, it'll bless you. But they're coming. I would honestly, I would really try to avoid trolling altogether, right? We don't want to practice counter trolling, because at the end of the day, it starts turning into the same kind of behavior. Not only the same kind of behavior, it starts coming from the very same place. Honestly, it's probably good for everybody, even the counter trollers. I'm gonna troll the troller. It's probably better to just leave the trolling behavior alone altogether, right? Because you don't want to become what they are, right? You don't want to become what they are. You can't detest something and then not detest the same thing in you, right? You see what I mean? So yeah. That's my thinking on that. Yes, indeed. Any other questions? Any other questions? Anybody? Georgetta, what that you say? Since we are confessing, as the scripture tells us to do, I troll all those evangelicals that make make CRT the boogeyman on Twitter. Yeah. So, again, if you feel in your heart that your engagement is coming from a sincere place and not necessarily trolling, there's nothing wrong with actually engaging, right? But we just don't want to practice the very same thing that we're condemning here. Good. Share some differences between normal pushback that's genuine from troll. Well, again, trolls have the motive to come and they show up only to disagree, or they show up to, again, just go back to the general definition of trolling. They're there to start trouble, to instigate arguments, to create frustration, so forth and so on. A person with genuine pushback is not trying to do that. Hence, you just said it. It's genuine pushback. They're pushing back. They're like, "Hey, man, with all due respect, or ma'am, sister, with all due respect, I disagree with that. Here's why." Right? Genuine pushback sounds like that. You're literally respecting the level of that person's level of preparation or their level of expertise, or what have you. You're respecting that, and then you're also respectfully disagreeing, right? And pushback may also sound like this. With all due respect, what I'm understanding you to say, um, I'm understanding you to say this. And if that's what you're saying, with all due respect, I disagree with it. So in that way, you're not being accusatory in the sense that you are accusing them of having said that. You're leaving room for the possibility that you may have misunderstood what they said. Right? That's genuine pushback. Now, Brother Damon, you know, um, man, I hear you. Sounds like what you're saying is this. I may be wrong about that, but that's what you're saying, man. I really disagree with that. Here's why. And then to which I might say, no, 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 no. That's not what I was saying at all. What I was really saying was this. And you're like, oh, I stand corrected. Now we don't even have to get into the pushback piece because you've left that room of possibility that you might have heard me wrong. Or, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying, you know. And well, let me explain why I actually said that. I get that you disagree. Here's why I'm saying that, though. Here's what you might have missed. I did make this point. Boom, 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 boom. And he's like, oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I didn't hear you say that. That makes sense, though. Or you might still stand your ground and come up with other supporting things and this, that, and the other. And who knows? You might even convince me, or we might be at an impasse. But at least as interlocutors, that is a very respectful discourse and dialogue, right? We don't have to put that in front of everything, but you know what I mean. It can help. It can be helpful. It can be helpful. Yeah, trolling by respectfully being disrespectful, right? The respectful troll. Ma'am, sir, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir. Yeah, you're like, stop with all that, ma'am and sir. I'm your age. Don't be sirring me. I'm your age. And Mr. Damon, Mr. Damon, I'm thinking, people way older than me. Mr. Damon, come on now, don't do me like that. Listen, y'all, I really appreciate it. I gotta run. I gotta go. But thanks for joining this live tonight, talking about trolls. Share this because I think this discussion will be helpful to a lot of people. And if you gotta, say, hey, watch between this range, or however you do it, or even watch the Q&A. But I think it would be incredibly helpful to people to know more about, to arm themselves with a greater understanding of trolling, how dangerous it can be, and what to do when you encounter it. So again, I'm your elder. I'm your elder. Let me stop. Oh boy, listen, y'all got me. Oh yeah, that's the old religious troll. They get you all worked up and be blessed. I hate that. Now that's one thing. I'll say this before I go. I can't stand somebody to try and push my buttons. God bless you. God bless you anyway. No, don't go dragging God into this thing now. Don't go dragging now. Stand in your square. If you came to fight, then let's fight. But don't go go throwing a rock and then hiding your hand. And then when I say, hey, what was that you said? Oh, God bless you. God bless you. And all this other stuff. I don't be God blessing me. I'm already blessed. But you either go. Don't you hate that false humility, fake blessing kind of, God bless you, be blessed. No, you be blessed. How about that? You be blessed. Oh, good Lord. There's some folk. I tell you, I enjoy hanging out with you all. And now I don't know, Dex, what this might even have to do with anything, but I'll go out on this note right here, answering this question. Should Christian men look for a wife or suitable spouse by listening to a person like Kevin Samuels? I don't think anybody should be listening to Kevin Samuels. Like, what qualifies him to even make the statements he's making? That should be the first question that anybody asks. What qualifies him to talk about a male suitor and finding a qualified, wealthy man, telling women that? What qualifies him to be telling women about the type of man that he's not? He's not even the kind of man that he's described. What qualifies him to be offering this kind of advice to anybody? Again, what does that show? It shows the point that I'm constantly making almost every night. Folk have a problem because they listen to the wrong people. If folk want to keep listening to Kevin Samuels, I do not feel sorry for you. When you're trying to follow up on the things that he's saying, and then you're getting your feelings hurt and all kinds of other stuff. Nobody told you to stand out there and put yourself in a situation to be the butt of a joke or to be laughed at. Next thing you know, his discourse with you went viral because he's talking about something about you're mediocre at best or something like that, and all kinds of like, who qualifies you? Old sissified self, tight pants wearing, soft to the touch, kind of what qualifies him to be talking about what manhood really is and all this other stuff? Where's his credentials? Who made him a relationship guru or an expert in? You see what I mean? Folks should not be listening to these kind of people. Sadly, though, Dex, is that even people on here, they're going to go right over there to Kevin Samuels' channel and super chat him. Kevin Samuels is probably making upwards of $15,000 to $20,000, $30,000 a week, probably just from YouTube as a completely unqualified person, right? It is like he's got a better job. He's got a better job than more important people, and he really don't even have a job. That's what he's doing, and he's probably making anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000 a week, probably upwards of $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a month just from YouTube alone, if not more. And it's no wonder he can afford to buy, the wardrobe that he wears, this, that, and the other, courtesy. Now, it's fashion courtesy, courtesy of all the people who think he's somebody that they need to be listening to. It's sad, but you can be an idiot in this world, and all you got to do is say something stupid, say something catchy or whatever, and people they'll make you rich. But the people who need to be heard, people who are really truly educating and informing and this, that, or the other, they won't get the same kind of support. Now, I'm not trying to cheerlead for myself, but I'm just saying in general. You get what I'm saying? Is there's no reason for people to be listening or supporting Kevin Samuels. And a lot of men are supporting him because of the fact that there's some men who are so spurned by the way women have treated them. They enjoy hearing a man now turning the tables. The rabbit's got the gun, and now a man is essentially putting women down in the guise of attempting to coach them to change and be better. So a lot of men, you know what that really makes those men? It makes them cowards. It makes them weak men. That you hide behind a so-called advice guru kind of a man that's really just putting women down under the guise of trying to help them. Yeah, tell her. And so you got a lot of these kind of coward punk kind of men that are essentially making him, and then women with low self-esteem as well. I got a whole problem with what goes on over there. But again, nothing I'm going to say is really going to slow down his money, because he's going to be making his money, because people love listening to the wrong people. It always goes back to who taught you. Yeah. You can be a straight goofball. There you go. There you go. So, yeah, with that said, I am out. We're 8 minutes over. Blessings to all of you, and we love you. Talk to you later.